In this lecture, we will attach an additional managed disk, so a data disk for persistent data to the Windows VM. Alright, so I'm back in Azure portal. So let's take a look at virtual machines, and I will go to Windows VM 01. And if I now click on disks, I see here that I have only Windows VM 01 disk. So if I now switch to the RDP, so this is the connection to the Windows virtual machine, and take a look at this PC, I see these two drives. So this one, Windows C drive, is actually the OS disk, so the operating system that we have seen just a second ago. And D drive is for temporary storage. And if you just go inside and take a look at the data loss warning README, actually Azure says here very clear that, warning, this is a temporary disk. Any data stored on this drive is subject to loss and there is no way to recover it. So the point here is that if you want to have an additional disk for persistent data, so data that can live between power off, power on sessions, reboots and so on, or maybe accidental reboots or planned maintenance windows from Azure side, well, you need an additional one, so that's what we will do now. So again, I am in disks, so Windows, let me go back again. So I'm getting out, again virtual machines, then I go to the specific virtual machine, and under settings I have networking and disks. So I click on disks, and now I will say add data disk. Currently no managed disks are available, so if I expand the menu I can click on create a disk. So we'll create now right away. It will take like 1 second, very fast. Let's name it Windows VM 01 and persistent data. The resource group is fine, so this is our AZ900RG. Source type, it can be none, snapshot or storage blob. We are not using any information that has been available earlier, so we are creating from scratch. So that's fine, this is the source, none. But I want to change the size. I don't need 1 TB of premium SSD. So the account type, I will say standard hard drive, and I will select 32 GB. And I will click OK. And now in order to start the process, just click on create. And it says here creating disk. So let me just expand notifications and let's wait until the disk is created. So successfully created the disk, so dismiss all. And now let's save here. So don't forget to do that, otherwise it will not work. I'm in the Windows VM 01 disks. I will save it, which means now actually the data disk that we have just created, it's attached to the Windows machine. So again, let's wait for the process to complete. And here it is, successfully updated virtual machine disks. Now let's switch to the actual connection to our machine. So we added another disk, but still we see only 2 disk drives. So the C, the OS disk, and the temporary storage. Now the reason is that the same way you do it in the real world with physical hard drives when you attach it to your PC, to your workstation, well, you have to do the same thing here. So in the search bar here, I will say disk management, and we have this create and format hard disk partitions. So I'll select that. And here is the message. So it says you must initialize a disk before logical disk manager can access it. So as I see here, it's the master boot record and the GPT. No, so I will leave MBR, so just the default one. I will click OK. And if I expand this a little bit, I see here that 32 GB are unallocated. So right click on it, new simple volume. And now we have to go through this wizard, very simple. So next, this is the size, 32 gigs, next. The letter F, that's fine for me, next, and finish. So formatting. And yeah, once it's done, you can see here I have the new volume, which is the F1. And if I right click on it and say properties, I would like to change the label, so persistent data, and apply and OK. So now I have a new disk attached here. I have Windows, temporary, and a data disk. Thank you, and see you in the next lecture.